Welcome home, my soul foodies. It's your soul food enthusiast, Shawnae, and you're at Shawnae's house. Now, we're getting ready to get into these dishes, and I'm getting ready to answer all your wishes. I'm going to give you the keys and the secrets to preparing soulful, flavorful, meaningful dishes that are going to remind you of home with a touch of my love. So now, mi casa is kind of su casa, so why don't we get into the kitchen? What's up, everyone? This is your girl, Shawnae, and yes, you are at Shawnae's house. Now, I know that it's probably a hustle and bustle kind of day because you know what? Mother Teresa, or Teresa, whoever she is, or who is the person that runs the weather situation? Is it Mother Nature is her name? I got myself lost for a second, but that's like all mothers, business women who are running around doing all kinds of things, and then you have to try to like pull things together and gather yourself so that you can get home and fix a meal before your spouse or significant other or boo thing or Netflix and chill guy asks you, what's for dinner? Now me, I cannot stand the question, what's for dinner? I actually think that my creativity kind of goes south when you ask me. I want to come up with something that makes everybody go wow, right? Now, shrimp Creole, shrimp gumbo, anything with shrimp is really, really fabulous. I'm drawn to it. I love it. I love a dish with shrimp in it. The problem here is I'm so allergic to it. I can't even eat it. But I have learned how to master a dish with seafood in it so that everyone else in my family can enjoy it. So I kind of get off watching my husband when he's sitting in the kitchen or in the den and he's like cracking crabs or eating shrimp and eating shellfish all in my face because one, we can't kiss for a second because he got to brush his teeth, he got to wash his face, he got to do all these extra things in order for us to become intimate. But there's so much foreplay involved in me preparing the dish and then him eating the dish because we're doing these two things very separately, but uniquely, we're kind of like fused together. There's love in between me preparing it and him eating it. Watch your mouth, Shawnae. Don't say anything that's too much. You're not allowed to say that. Now I'm gonna need you to chill. I'm not going there. Anyway, so today I decided that I wanted to make this really fabulous shrimp sort of dish with sausages and chicken, and I wanted to have all those wonderful flavorful seasonings that you put into a really authentic New Orleans, down south, Louisiana dish. But this is all the way up north in Staten Island where we chill right here in the 10304 at Shawnae's house. I'm doing this my way. You can't tell me that it's not going to be delicious because it is, because everything that I cook is delicious. And you can't tell me that it doesn't totally reap and send out the aroma of what my history is tied to. And that is soul food and seafood together. So we're going to get in the kitchen. I'm going to need you to get all your things together. And there's lots of things you're going to have to get together. So you ain't doing this dish with me. You're going to do it after me. But once you get this dish down, you're not going to stress about getting home and preparing something flavorful, fabulous, soulful, and meaningful with the keys and the secrets to preparing these dishes taught by me. Come in, get in the kitchen, and let's get this thing taken care of. You want it? Today is going to be one of those genuine kind of moments because you're probably in a rush, and I don't want you to be rushed at this point. I need us to be mindfully and intentionally in the kitchen so that we can get this dish done. There's a lot going on because anybody that has done anything with shrimp Creole or gumbo or anything like that where it's from Louisiana, coming from that culture and cuisine, then you know that there's a lot going on. So what I got asked from the viewers was, and some of the followers on social media, was how come the stuff is already prepped? Why am I not showing people that I can cut a pepper or an onion or a scallion or anything like that? And so I told them usually I just like to be prepared. So I try to be overly prepared sometimes and have my things chopped, but I know that sometimes people just need to help build their own skills. So like I said, I'm not a technical chef. I am a self-taught cuisine artist, a cultural culinary artist, right? And because I love food, I make food taste the way that it does because I love what I do. So when I'm showing you these things, don't hold me to it, because I ain't get this from no daggone culinary art school. I just do what I gotta do to get the food cooked and to taste delicious. So a lot of my rough chopping is being done while I'm talking or doing whatever it is I'm doing. And so I just need y'all to just like not be trying to knock me and kill me for those little tiny things that I'm doing, because at the end of the day, if you try this recipe, then you're going to love it and love me. And so let's get to what is necessary, and that is that I have to have my tea first before I start messing with y'all. I can't be just having a conversation with y'all and not getting my whole life together. So I love dessert teas. This is a vanilla tea, and I got myself a little peppermint chocolate swirly stirrer. I use these in my restaurant and it just blows all of my customers away. Tea time is an experience. So I'm gonna get that opened up and I'm gonna lay that right on here. Any girls, girly girls that love a tea party, they know they love a little plate with a doily and some hot water and a good old tea bag. So normally we would do this thing where we would be doing this whole quick shot. I've incorporated it. I like throwing my people off every once in a while. I love cream. I like my cream in my tea. And then I love my stirrer. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna let this steep for about 6 or 7 minutes, and then I'm gonna stress it out and drink it all. But don't worry about that. It smells so fragrant, like candy canes and chocolate, and all I wanna do is bite the cup. Like those things that I see on social media where they're cutting objects and it like looks like a cup, but it's really a cake. Somebody hit me up and let me know, where do I find you? Because you don't answer my DMs. That tastes like Christmas in a cup. So like I said, we're gonna let that steep. So now I want to get my veggies cut up because you guys asked the questions and I'm just answering them for you. Here I got a red pepper. Take my knife and I'm getting right to it. Like I didn't even believe that I was getting to it just now like that. Like that's crazy. You ever watch those cooking shows where they always pull out a bowl from everywhere, it just comes from anywhere for your trash? That's what I'm doing. I'm getting my bowl for my trash, and I'm gonna keep that kind of close to me because you don't want those seeds getting all over the place. If I've taught you anything already, it's that you don't want the seeds from the peppers because those give you gas. I think we're all at that age where we just really don't want to be bothered with that anymore. So here is what we're doing. We're chopping this in a large rough chop on the pepper, and this currently is a julienne. Anything that's long and beautiful is a julienne in a pepper or an onion. And then once you take your knife that way, you've got a diced chop. And if you're not doing it with super precision like all the big chefs out there in the world, then it's rough. It's a pretty rough chop. Rustic, if you want to call it, right? And I want to keep my pretty little orange sweater out of the way. And so I'm glad that this just happened to my pepper just now, because I want to show you that anytime you're getting on this part right here, this is the membrane, you want to be able to take the membrane out of the pepper. Reason being that also gives you kind of like gas, and it also doesn't taste really good in the dish. So don't be afraid of the food. You see that there's seeds right here along the membrane. Just take it away from you and just slice underneath it with a really sharp knife and remove the seeds, and then chop away julienne style first. Move your fingers if you can, because you don't want to cut them. You'll see chefs that have this whole little rolling finger thing going on. I don't know how to do that, and I'm not going to even front like I do, but I know I don't really cut myself too often. I have, but I don't do it too often. I'm pretty careful because what it used to do was cutting used to give me anxiety. So now I just tell myself I'm not going to kill myself with a knife. I got my last pepper here. And you want to make sure that in this dish it's very colorful, but it's also super flavorful. And these peppers give off nice flavor. They're sweet, they're not hot. That's why they're sweet bell peppers in every color. And they just have like a nice texture to them. So when you're eating them in this dish, they give you a nice little bite. Now you can cook them all the way down to the point where you almost can't really taste that they're in there, but you don't want that to be like that. I like a hearty dish that has a lot of texture. I'm a texture kind of person. So now I'm going to take, I want to grab my big gigantic onion. Take both ends off. Put that in my little cute little fancy bowl with my trash. And then run my sharp knife across that first layer. Peel it off. You don't want any of that outer layer on there. It's tough, it doesn't cook down, and it just be a pain in the behind. I don't think that you need all of the onion, but if you're somebody who likes the flavor of onion, which is really good, it's almost like has its own thing going on in here, and it has a nice texture, then you only need about half. The rest you save for something else. Spaghetti, I don't know. Sausage and peppers, something else. Now I want to start with cooking these things down. So we're going to get our fire going. The reason being that we're doing this part first is because I like to get the vegetables a little bit tender with a small little bit of a bite, and then we're going to move into our chicken. The reason why we're doing our chicken next is because the chicken is going to leave flavor at the bottom of the pan. So we're going to take this first and get this going. Don't be afraid of your food. Touch it, feel it. Oh wait, I'm doing too much. I want to grab my avocado oil, high heat oil. That also gives off a flavor. Don't cook with the olive oil. Can't heat it up. It's not good for you. Don't do that. Okay. Now we can get our peppers and onions in the pan. When it starts to heat up, you'll start to hear it sizzling and making lots of noise and all that other kind of stuff, all that good stuff. But right now, this is going to take roughly about, say, 7 to 10 minutes. So don't rush. If you got something else that you need to do, if you need to go grab your tea, or you need to grab a coffee, or you need to yell at the kids, or you need to throw a load of laundry in, right after you do this, put this on medium heat, run and go do that, and come back. I promise you, you won't burn it, but don't be out too long, and don't be texting while we're cooking. We got stuff to do. Me, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right here. And I'm going to get this thing cooking. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up my sleeves. Because you know what? All that, just pulling and hiking it up every 5 seconds is really just doing too much. Oh, so one of the other reasons why I wore a long sleeve shirt today was because I was so horribly disgusted by one of the comments about my leopard arm. Well, it got a whole story connected to this little arm thing going on over here. So like, I had gotten into my restaurant, I was in here for the first week, and I had ran being grown and got this tattoo. It means emerge and see, right? Because I passed on 9/11. So emerge, E-M-E-R-G-E, and see, myself amazing. I decided to put it on my arm. Well, that was doing too much, and when I did it, I came into my restaurant on its first week of opening to the public. I had some grease on, I threw some chicken in there to fry some chicken, and that thing talked back to me and gave me this whole war scar that I have to live with for the rest of my life. So I have been contemplating as to whether or not I should get a whole sleeve. But I'm all the way not telling you how old I am, but I know I don't need to be going out and get no sleeves. And at this age, I need to calm the heck down. So now this is very beautiful. It's so vibrant. It's like springtime, even though spring just whole reneged on us, because I'm out here freezing my whole behind off in these last couple days. I thought I was grown about 3 weeks ago, wore shorts and a trench coat, and then I came out the other day and got my little tiny behind handed to me because it was like 20 degrees outside. So this is going to make me feel like I'm somewhere in the South or in New Orleans, and it's like, what do they call that thing? Mardi Gras, and we all having a good old time and music, and what's that place called? Fat Tuesdays is happening, and there's juice and drinks and beads and people peeing from the ceilings, and we having a really good time. That's where I'm at right now. So if you got good music on, then I would say turn your really good music on, sort of like that neo-jazzy soul kind of music right now. And then grab you like a really nice drink. I ain't gonna tell you which kind, because I'm not going to condone it unless I'm making it and I'm there. But that's the life that I'm getting right now. So if you can see this very beautiful dish right here already coming together, it's marrying. It's talking to me. It's telling me that it's time for a vacation, Shawnae. You're gonna have to shut the whole operation down, and you're gonna need to get to New Orleans so that you can enjoy a chicken po' boy, because you can't have shrimp. Once I get this cooked down a little bit more, I'm going to be able to take it out and put it in one of my secret bowls that I pulled from underneath here that you don't know where it's coming from. And then we're going to place our meat in here. And we're going to season that up and make it really good. So you just give us like a couple more seconds, because it will also cook down in the sauce, right? What you'll see is that the onions start talking to you first, right? So onions don't be playing no game. That's like your friend that goes out to the club with you that gives you the eye and says they ready to go. That's what the onion does in here. When they start getting translucent is the word, see-through, transparent, or being all the way keeping it a buck. When they get like that, that's when you know that the rest of the vegetables are kind of cooked down. But the onion will cook down first on its own. And in order to enhance or accelerate that, you want to put a little bit of salt in it. That'll make it cook really nicely. And it'll extract any kind of juices or anything like that from, it'll help extract the oil or the fluid, the water is coming from the peppers. So of course, you know, I need a break. I mean, like mindfulness every few minutes when this is all going on. Like, I kind of get a little bit overwhelmed, like every woman in the world that has a life and that is out here trying to win and get it, and I'm not even going to say trying, that is getting it, that are doing really empowering things. You also need to take a time out. So like while you're cooking, what I would say to you is don't get overwhelmed by the food, because even though people be thinking that you're doing the most, you are doing you. Be very clear that doing you requires that you not really take in everybody else's stress or their day or their issues. Don't make everybody's issues your priority. And so when you get home with your family, that's where your love is at. One of my supervisors at my old job that I quit said to me in a meeting one time that she wanted all of her staff to stop trying to get along and be friends and, you know, all that kind of stuff. She said, get your love at home. I mean, at first I did sort of I took offense to it. I was upset because I thought that we were kind of like friends. And then I realized I needed to hear what she was saying, because she had a word for us. I should have gave her a tithe. She should have got an offering, because she had a whole word ministered to my spirit. And that was, don't forget about my family at home. When you get home from your day at work where you make your money, you need to spend time with your family. You don't need to talk about work. You don't need to be dealing with everybody else's stress. You don't need to have your face in your phone. You need to look your children in the eye. You need to look at your spouse or your significant other. You need to ask them, how was their day? You need to invest in the things that they went through, and then maybe share a little bit about what you went through. But you want to be present, because your presence is a gift. And when you're around them, they don't want to be overwhelmed by all of the things that go on when you're at work making money. Because you're not at home to make money. You're with your family to make memories. And so this is really like a really nice dish to make memories with, because a lot of us, especially after the pandemic, haven't had the opportunity to vacation because of all the vaccination laws and all the issues with traveling and people getting sick and their fears or whatever. So sometimes you got to bring those experiences home. So what's the problem with bringing home New Orleans? What's the problem with bringing home the Mardi Gras? And so this dish will bring home the Mardi Gras. So I better go ahead and go get them beads. I'm going to take this out because now it's totally cooked down to where I want it. Pour that right in my little trusty bowl. And that's good, just like that. And now I want to give myself a little bit more oil. And we're going to add in our chicken. Now what I did, because it's all about improvising. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a businesswoman. A lot of my business is not just restaurant. I'm a life coach. I deal with people in crisis. I work with people who want to be successful. I'm constantly writing. I'm writing all the time in my book, so that I can get these things published. And I have to put these things out in the atmosphere so that I can hold my own self accountable. But in the midst of all that, I be forgetting stuff. And I totally forgot to go get the chicken from the stove. And so I improvised for this dish. What I did was I knew I had some chicken wings in my refrigerator. And so I didn't stress. I didn't drive myself nuts because I didn't have it. Popping myself and everything, you see that? Turn that down. Make sure that gets down. So we're going to get kind of crazy. I'm going to get it down kind of low. And then what you want to do is stir a little bit. Because as you start to cool the pan with cold food, it doesn't get so crazy. Right? And I ain't scared of it. Don't be afraid of it. But there are ways to cool your pan down. So cool your pan down by making sure that cold stuff is all over. And then I'm going to show you what I did here. So I cut these chicken wings. I took the meat right off of the bone. And what you can do with this is place it right inside the pan. What that's going to do is these are also going to cook with your meat. And it's going to give the flavor to the dish that we're preparing. So now that I got it down to a point where it ain't trying to take my head off, we want to get to seasoning. So I got here some nice little seasonings. I have a garlic and herb seasoning that I like to use. Won't use any names until they decide to endorse me. I have some dried thyme because that's just fabulous in these tomato-based dishes. It marries really well with any kind of tomato base. I have some pink Himalayan sea salt. And 2 pinches is like about a teaspoon or a little bit more than a teaspoon. Right? And this is a Cajun seasoning that I like to use straight from New Orleans. So that's Slap Your Mama. And then I got a little bit of Cajun seasoning that I bought down in Monk's Corner from the Piggly Wiggly. So now I went in there and I was looking for some stuff. And I bought like $200 worth of products out of the Piggly Wiggly because it's things that they don't sell here in New York. A lot of the stuff I really didn't get to use, but then there was some stuff that I had used, and it's really nice. But I want to really get to a lot of those dishes, but I have to like really figure out what the flavor profiles are. And then I got some pepper. Can't forget the pepper. Everybody knows I use the pepper because that is the natural laxative, darling. Then I have some dry parsley. Anytime that you can swap any of these herbs out for fresh, I would suggest that you do that because fresh is best. So the chicken is cooking, and being that this is a chicken wing, the chicken wing is white meat. So white meat cooks a little bit faster than dark meat. And what I would say is in this dish, if you chose to use thighs and you cut them up, they're dark meat. They give off a lot more fat and a lot more flavor. But like I said, I was working with what I had. And it's really seasoned very nicely at this point. So that when we get our shrimp in there and our sausages, ain't nobody going to be able to tell me nothing. I'm going to grab this out of here without making a whole crazy mess. Because now I can remove my bones. I don't need those anymore. They're in the way. Y'all in the way. Go ahead. Anybody got a dog? Then I would say put those out, give those to your dog, put them in a little bit of water, or put them right on top of their dog food, and it will soften their dog food, and they'll get some flavor in there, and they're going to love you. I lost my dog Othello after the pandemic, had pretty much died down. He was very old. He was a rescue dog that we had taken in, and we actually extended his life kind of long. But he loved table food. He loved everything that we cooked. He loved pizza, and he loved pizza crust. So now you see that the pan has like given off all of these little bits right here. That's the seasoning that cooked down. That's also some of the chicken that's cooking down off of here. And that is where all your flavor is going to come from in this dish. But we want to put some new flavors in here. And now we can move some of these things out of the way. Now, like I shared with you, I'm allergic to shellfish. I can't have it. So I'm going to cook this dish almost all the way before I throw those shrimp in. Plus, shrimp doesn't need a whole lot of cooking. You have to get it to a point where it turns pink, and that only takes about 3 to 4 minutes to do if you got like a small size one. Well, we got extra large shrimp there that are already cleaned and deshelled and deveined and all that, and not disrespected. So we're gonna wait to do that. But now I'm getting the sauce on the bottom, which is really, really nice, because we're gonna add in some more of our flavor. So now I'm gonna grab some of this garlic. And with the garlic clove, once you peel it, I like to buy fresh garlic that's already peeled, especially in the restaurant, because it cuts down on the time for prepping. But if you like fresh garlic all the way in the bowl, and you gotta like cut it, smack it open, do all that kind of stuff, then definitely I prefer, like I said, for it to be as fresh as possible. I'm mentioning this because if you purchase garlic that is a whole clove and has already been peeled, and it is in 2 different types of plastic container, a plastic container and then a bag, you want to make sure that you read the box, because if the box comes from China, I'm just saying, don't sue me for this, but if you grab a box from China, there's a good chance that that company washed the garlic in bleach. I happened to be in the store one day purchasing my items, and a really lovely, amazing fellow chef walked up to me and told me to switch my box of garlic. And when he told me to switch the box of garlic, I asked him why. He said because that product washes their product in bleach. And so I didn't buy it. So now I grabbed this one, and I'm gonna, that was what, 3 I think or so. I don't even be counting when it comes to garlic, because I love the flavor of garlic. I really, really do. This dish can handle enough garlic because you want that. You want that really rooty, just crazy, out of control party flavor, right? You don't want to burn it, so you want to make sure that your heat is not too high. My heat is not too high. My chicken is cooking perfectly. And now we're going to add in our sausages. I love sausages. I don't really eat them anymore too much because of the sodium. But here is a halal smoked turkey sausage. My guy behind the scenes asked, was it beef? And he said he doesn't eat red meat, right? And so I get a lot of people that come into the restaurant all the time, and they ask a lot of questions about a lot of different products. I used to get frustrated. I don't get frustrated anymore, because now I know that people are not being picky. They're being particular about their eating habits, and I have to respect their eating habits. So I had a Muslim guy come in here and dine in with us one weekend, and he asked me about my meatloaf. And when he asked me about my meatloaf, I told him that I prepare the meatloaf with halal meat. So he broke it down, okay? He said he respected the restaurant because, one, halal meat costs a grip like them oxtails, even if it's chopped meat. And the way that they slaughter halal meat is they have respect for the meat. So I thought it was just that halal meant blessed food, right? Blessed proteins. But the reason why it's blessed is because they respect the animal enough that the animal almost sacrifices its life for it to be slaughtered and eaten. So if you eat regular beef, like Angus or whatever, or just regular old beef that you buy in the store, I'm not even trying to scare y'all, but like, they be bopping them upside the head and just taking them out. And what they do is their bodies tense up and they tighten their muscles and hold the blood. So when you go to buy steaks and different types of meat and you see that it is very bloody, it's because of the way that it was slaughtered. But halal meat has very little blood because once it's slaughtered, the meat is released because it's blessed. And so anybody that wanted to know that, that's what I'm teaching you as a sensei. I am the teacher of soul food. I'm telling you, that's what they do. So if you want to spend a little bit more money with respect to the way the animals are treated, then halal is the way to go. So we got our halal turkey sausages in here. They're cooking down kind of nice with the garlic and the chicken. They're giving off all signs to tell me that they love me and I love them back. And so now we're going to move into putting in the rest of our ingredients, our vegetable ingredients, and then we're going to go into our more root ingredient, which is our mushroom, and then we're going to go into our sauce. So I like to use these little tomatoes because they just give me life. Like I said, it's texture for me. I love to use things that just tell me that I cooked fresh, I bought things that were fresh. And so because this is a tomato-based dish, I'm taking some fresh, tiny little cherry, colorful heirloom tomatoes, and I'm putting these bad boys. Why did I switch knives? That was being weird. And I'm going to slice them in half and then put these bad boys in here. And they're going to cook down, but they won't disappear. I think that's enough. I'm going to check my heat because I can turn it up just a tiny, tiny bit. So now you should be at the point where you got your really good show on, you had your tea, you threw your laundry in, your kids probably are halfway through their homework, you told them what to do, and you probably took 2 phone calls. Not bad for a working mom or a working woman out here getting busy, doing things, and being fabulous because tomorrow is going to be even greater. But we got to get there. So now we got the heat up a little bit more. I hear it sizzling a little higher. And this is where all the flavor is going to really come from. So now what I want to do is I want to remove the corn from the cob. I decided to add this in for texture, but also for the sweetness from the corn. Now, I don't normally eat corn, but I just thought, hey, it's in my refrigerator. I don't want to waste it. And I think I want to put it in there because I want it to be pretty and vibrant. So what you do is you're not really supposed to go too close to the cob. You're supposed to kind of like just slide down. But anybody who's fiending to get all the daggone corn off of there, that would be me. I'm yanking all of the corn off of there. But you just slice down, take that corn, fresher is better. And so we just took that sweet corn right off of there. Now I'm going to grab some of my scallions. And I'm just going to out the way. I'm being all, I have possession issues. Like, I can't stand people who take things from me. I'm going to take this down. Try to get as much of it all the way down to the stem. I just caught on social media, on Instagram actually, that cutting it down this far and then taking these, laying them in a little bit of soil in your house, like a pot, pouring a little bit of water on it, in a couple of weeks you'll have more scallions. So I'm not wasting those. So now that we got that cooked down, we're going to bring our peppers and onions back. Y'all are back. Y'all are invited back to the party. Y'all wasn't acting up. Now this is where it starts getting a little crazy and delicious. Because it's at the point where I can actually taste it until I put them shrimp in there. Once I put the shrimp in there, party's over for me. I gotta go sit down and just watch everybody else enjoy it. Like shrimp Creole and gumbo and all those things, they're known for their roux. And so when you start out with the roux and you make it really, really dark with the butter and the flour and and you cook it down like your old grandma, and you make it black, and then you put that broth in there, and then you fill it all up with all those good delicious flavors like bay leaves and thyme and tomato and all that stuff. That's what an original one is like. But right now we on a new type of time. We on time post-pandemic. We on time where everybody's getting money out here. We all trying to do things. And so we're moving a little bit faster. We don't have all that kind of time. Y'all can't even pay attention past 60 seconds anyway, so I don't even know why anybody's even trying to do that. But this is going to taste much better. So now I'm going to grab my scallions. We're going to put those in there, darling. And scallions, this is another type of onion. The green onion. Gives it another form of texture. Gives it another layer of flavor. And flavor is what you want. And I want to grab this. I'm not going to put it in there just yet because I don't want to really do that just yet. And then just because I have become a fan of a mushroom. I love mushrooms. Don't know why. Don't know what the infatuation is with them. But I just like to know that I put them in there. It gives it a whole nother layer of texture, and I can actually trick my kids into eating it, and they don't even know that I'm sticking it into spaghetti. Because I do that too. So you want to take the mushroom down, get it chopped down just enough. Right? And like I said, I like to know that it's there. Once you get it down, we're going to throw that bad boy in there, and then we're going to season again because we haven't done that in a while. But you'll know that that sausage, that chicken, those peppers, those onions, that garlic is all giving off fresh, aromatic, delicious, organic flavor that you're really going to love in that bowl when you get ready to tear this food up. So seasoning is important because you want things to taste flavorful, but you really want to rely on the things that you're putting in the dish that are natural. So we're going around the merry-go-round again with the seasoning. I already told you what these things are, so if you were paying attention, then you know what they are already. We don't have to do that again. And we want to do 2 pinches each. I'm a mother, so I'm not going to tell you how much that is. Just pinch twice. And if you're watching me pinch, then you can clearly see that the time it takes for it to fall out of my hand is pretty much the measurement. I'm doing this for y'all. I'm doing this for me. Okay. Now we're going to add in our 2 seasonings that I didn't add in earlier because it's just about that time. 2 powerful seasonings that I really want to use because I love the spice of life. And we're nearly done. Our saffron, which gives everything its beautiful color. Now this is expensive. So if you ain't got no money, then just say that. Like that thing on social media, just say that. You can't afford it, just say that. Don't go out trying to buy saffron if you really ain't got it like that. You can use Sazone. Now I don't really agree with it, but you know, every once in a while I'll throw it in something. But saffron is natural spice, and it costs about $20 for a little tiny jar of it. But what it does is it gives off fabulous, fiery color and flavor. Now, it's not something that you normally put in a dish like this. But because I like to fuse cultures, I wanted to add the saffron in because I don't want to put in anything that's fake, right? And then I'm going to grab one of my favorites. Crushed red pepper. I have no idea why I love it so much, but I just do. Now that I got the crushed red pepper in there, and I got the saffron, the garlic, the peppers, the onions, the chicken, the sausage, it's already a go. I could take this and put it on rice right now, but I ain't because it ain't done. Now here I have a little bit of, what is this again? Oh, bouillon. It's like a bouillon paste, and it's chicken. So I want to take a little bit of bouillon paste because one of the things that they do in the dish, in a regular, or you know, a traditional gumbo or a Creole, is they have broth. We're gonna create the broth right now. 2 little spoons of that will do. You don't want to do too much of that because we already put a lot of seasoning in. And one thing about a bouillon is it's got salt in it. So you don't want to make it too salty. But what we're getting ready to do is we're getting ready to add in our next layer, which is our wet ingredients. And this is going to bring the dish all the way together. So So now I have one last spicy thing that I'm gonna take, and that's a chili garlic paste. Yummy. Don't judge me. I love spice. Love it, love it, love it. Now, any great cook is gonna taste throughout the time that they're creating their dish, and I am going to, but I wanna make sure that these ingredients are incorporated, that they're married, that they're coming together, they're talking to each other. There's no pockets of like too much salt or too much seasoning. I want the peppers and onions to really like absorb everything that we put in here, and then you can go ahead and taste it. Because what you could do is you could have threw all that seasoning on there, try to taste it, and that salt and those different seasonings blow you away, and you think you ruined the dish, and then you're panicking and you're ordering Chinese food. We ain't doing that. So we're just gonna wait and let it marry and do its thing for just a few seconds. While we're doing that, we're gonna get our little corn together, because this only takes a few seconds also to cook down. Gonna add in our corn. Stir. This is how you know it's getting ready to all go down. Now the corn, what that's gonna do is that's gonna add the component of sweet. So anything that was in there that was sort of salty or overpowering is not really gonna have a Jehovah moment. Is not gonna get to pull a Jay-Z or a Beyonce, because the corn gonna be like, yo, what's really good? Like, I'm all the way in this pot with you. So we gonna let them rock and do what they do. And now we can get to adding in our wet ingredients. So what I like to do is first grab some water. You're gonna add your water, turn the heat up, because you're gonna need this dish to start really kicking up. And you wanna make it juicy, because this is a component to the dish. It's not the entire dish. You have to have rice or grits or something, mashed potatoes, I don't know what you like. But traditionally it's rice. And anybody that really, really wanna go there and you want your grandma to come and visit you, then you're gonna have it over grits. So now I got my heat up. So now that we got it all simmering and it's gonna really do its thing in a minute, we're getting ready to get it really popping in a second. Because now we're gonna take a little bit of our red, and that's gonna give us our color and our flavor. We put our water in there, and this is just crushed red tomato. You can use it diced, you can use a stew, you can use anything as long as you can throw it in a blender, and you know, let it get cut it down a little bit, because you don't want it to be too chunky, but because you really want the color and the flavor from it, but you don't want it to be just swimming around in there. I love stewed tomatoes, don't get me wrong, but that's not what we're doing right now. And I'm gonna add a little bit more just because the tomato gives it body. You know, it makes the dish actually. With the broth that we have in here, with all these other flavors and vegetables that we have in here, the tomato kind of like brings it all together. The sweetness, the acid, you know, those things are nice, and then the spice that we have go well with it. And speaking of spice, now it's time to make it hot. So what we do is we're gonna take this habanero pepper right here, we're gonna cut a little butt open, and we're gonna stick it right in there. And that's gonna release so much flavor and so much spice that you don't have to do anything with it. Trust me. That's like the really fine chick at the party, in the club, in the dark, that's standing in the corner with the all white dress on with her boobs halfway out, that just took over the whole damn party. She's over there getting all the attention, just like that pepper right there. So trust me, she ain't got to move around, she ain't got to do nothing, she just stand there and everything else will flock to her. Like this flavor we're about to put in this bad boy. So now, the thing I'm getting ready to do to give it a tiny bit more body is I'm gonna add in a little bit of heavy cream. This just makes it a little thicker, a little bit more smooth, comes off kind of like a roux or a gravy. And then when you go to put this bad boy in a bowl, I'm telling you, I don't know who's down with your cause right now, but your cause expands. That bag you wanted, that Louis bag, them Gucci shoes, this is where the money's at. Right here. It's right here. I'm telling you right now. That lace front, if you're still wearing those, but like, the pandemic should have taught us that we just were supposed to let all of that go. When you couldn't get your eyebrows done and your hair or your nails, because I know I was ordering hair and nails off online. Girl, I was the press-on queen. Then I just gave up. This is looking fabulous. Now, so I'm going to take my pepper, shift her from one end of the club to the other end of the club, just to make sure that she is letting everybody know she's down with the program. I'm going to turn down the heat just a little bit because the heat is all the way up in the pan. Okay? And this is where I have to kind of like do my taste test because, like I shared with you, I'm allergic to shrimp. So being that I'm allergic to shrimp, I have to make sure that I try things so that I don't just serve my people food that don't taste good, right? So I'll grab a little bit of my sauce and probably a tiny bit of chicken. I don't really need the sausage or anything like that. I just need to know that the veggies are good, the sauce is good, and I love a pepper. All those spices, the aroma is all in my face. It's all talking to me. I want to have a good time with them. I want to talk to them and say nice things to them. But it's time to do work. Oh, you saw that? Mm-mm. Nope. No. Your mama don't cook better than me. I'm sorry. She just don't. And she can come talk to me, homegirl. Because I know you ain't got it like I do. Because this right here, man, listen. Now, I'm going to need some of that. Because that just don't make no sense. I gotta take some out and put it in a to-go. Now when my husband sees that I took some out, he's gonna be so jealous. But I'm gonna get my own rice or my own grits or my own stuff. And I don't really be eating a lot, but I'm just doing the most right now. And I don't even want like I said, I don't even want the sausages. Like, the sauce. The sauce tastes like, seriously, like I just went to Mardi Gras. I'm too good half time. I scare myself. We are really, really good. It's really time to slow this bad boy down because it has simmered itself down. Now, the kids should have been done their homework. That laundry is almost done. You should not be answering any more calls. It is time for dinner. Put your cell phones down. No social media. No emails. No calls. No television. Get your butts to the table and eat with your family. Because that's what we are getting ready to do right here at my house. So traditionally, what you would see, and I'm going to make sure that I chop a little bit more of these garnishes and stuff like that so that I can have those for my plate and they can look fabulous and all that, right? I seen this on social media, the way that they were cutting these scallions, and then I was like getting all jealous, like, why didn't I know to do that? So now I gotta do it. You know, I'm a copycat sometimes, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't hating on you. Thank you for teaching me something. Why is you hating? Grab one more just because I need even balance. Always need balance, mindfulness, all that good stuff. Okay, alrighty. Now we are going to plate. So, the traditional dish where you have your shrimp Creole or your gumbo is that you'll have your sauce and you'll put that in the bowl first, right? So we're going to take our sauce, our gumbo or whatever you want to call it, just food, dinner. Sit down and eat like your mama would tell you, your grandmother. You don't want to eat this, then go ahead and go to bed. And there was not many days that I was doing that. Lady, I'm eating. I don't know about you, but I'm in here. Now we got that in the bowl. And then we go to putting our dish together with some rice. So I wrapped up some rice because I was being all crazy with it. And I was just like, oh, I don't want it to get too cold. And I wanted to keep the shape and blah, blah, blah. And so I was being really weird. So I put the plastic over it. So don't mind me. But it insulated the heat. So now a trick that you'll see in a lot of restaurants is you'll see your mountain of rice come out on your plate. And you're like, oh my God, how did they do that? Girl, bye. They did not go to school to learn how to put rice in a bowl and turn it into a mountain on your plate. But because you thought it was that serious, they charged you $40. That's it right there. So you take that little mountain of rice, just like that. That's in the center. I like to add a little bit more sauce because I like the way the sauce looks on the side. I like the way you work it. I'm gonna have to call Teddy and tell him all about this because this is without the shrimp. Now I want to put the shrimp in because I want you to see it just cook just quickly, right? And off to the side. I don't want you to, and plus I wanted to do it for myself, but don't worry about that. So I need a glove. My husband does not want to take me to the hospital. He don't really care for that. Because the other bowl that I'm going to do is going to have it on there and it's not going to. Laying them right on top. Laying them right on top, just like this, literally like 4 minutes. As soon as these things start turning pink, take them out. And you don't want these to be overwhelmed with seasoning. Shrimp, for some reason, grabs seasoning so fast and so quick and hard that it can be kind of like nasty. One of the other things that shrimp does is shrimp gets very rubbery. So if you cook it for too long, you almost is like inedible. So if anybody's ever ate anything, look at that. It's already turning pink. See how it turns pink? And that's quick and easy. But you want to make sure that it is all the way done. Right? So no gray, no blue areas on your shrimp. You just want to make sure that it's fully cooked, 2 or so minutes on each side. And heat on the sides of the pan is where it's popping. In the center of the pan, it's heavier and there's more going on over there that you won't really see it cook as fast. But if you push your food to the side where it's bubbling and doing a lot, that's where you'll get it cooked rather quickly. So now what shrimp will do is, if you've seen it, it was looking like this. He was very like loose and limp when he wasn't cooked. When it's cooked all the way, it gets tight, pink, and it starts to curl and get around. That one is actually done. And so now we're gonna take the ones that are perfectly cooked, not overcooked, out. And we're gonna rest those pretty little things right there, darling. I don't want the shrimp to be the whole dish because that sauce right there is crazy. And plus we have another bowl we have to talk to. So these are going to finish cooking. You can keep an eye on those if you like. We're going to get to making. We're all the way ready to make this dish fabulous and beautiful, and you know I'm all about elevation. So yes, Mom, you had a rough day. I applaud you for being out, working, doing everything that you were supposed to do to be fabulous and productive and make money. But now it's time to bring it home as if you were in a restaurant. Because we don't always get out and spend lots of money spending time out in restaurants, but that doesn't mean that we don't have to eat like that, right? So quick garnishes are what make dishes look absolutely beautiful. These microgreens are expensive. My husband just went into the receipt and tried to like diss me, like, oh, why are you spending $16 on the microgreens? Because I want to. So the reason why is because you ain't taking me out every night, is you? Well, until then, we're gonna buy microgreens. Microgreens are also really, really good for you. So we're gonna put our microgreens on top. These are very trendy in restaurants right now. Everybody that wants to make you feel like it was worthy of you spending your money is putting these beautiful Sonia orchids in your food. Doesn't mean that it makes it taste great. It just means that it looks pretty on camera. But we're gonna go ahead with it, right? We're gonna rest that pretty little flower right there. And then these cute little things that I stole from somebody on social media, we are going to put that right in the middle, darling. Just like that. And there you have the most beautiful. And then I'm adding carrot just because, you know, like, I totally forgot that I have on orange today. And because I cut my arm, I realized that I was like leaving it out, right? Like I said, I'm all about texture. And so you can be creative. Don't be afraid of your food. Be creative. Do things that make you feel good. And so just put them where you know they'll rest and be easy, right? So don't be afraid to move the food. Like I said, if you wanted to stand up and be pretty, do that too. Okay, so now we're gonna make sure we have lots of opportunity to take fabulous pictures. Take a look at our food. Move our mess out the way so our husband can come and get it. Because he just knows he wants to do that for me. Right? And I'm going to move those things right out the way. So, if you believe in yourself, then you believe in this dish. If you believe that you had a hard day, then you believe you deserve this. And there is just no more to talk about. Now, I could be a whole groupie and show you that I have on the side. I snuck it. Oh, yes, I did. I snuck some good old cheese grits in the mix. And so I'm going to just put a little bit of that flavor on top just because my husband will love it. So if you choose to not go the rice route, then you can go the grits route. And this will turn it into a totally different dish and a totally different experience. And anybody that is looking for another experience and you want to do something different with your life, then you will grab some grits and you will go ahead and do what you got to do, honey bun. Now, I ain't your mama because I cook better than her. But that right there is going to tell you and your mama to get your life right. So please enjoy. Come back to the house. Come hang out with me. But make sure that you take a moment of mindfulness. Make sure that if you like this recipe, you run to that YouTube little bell thingy so that you can get all your notifications. I want you to definitely like it, share it, and comment. I might even be able to respond. I know I'm busy, but I'm gonna try my best. And then make sure that you stay aligned. Use your time wisely. Know that your time is valuable. Understand that you must rise to every occasion because there's a reason someone is celebrating, and that's you. You're amazing. Have a nice one. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. And make sure that you hit that notification bell so that you can get all of the future recipes. And if you really love this recipe, then I would say go ahead and click like. Then I'm going to need you to share it and comment.